It's special discount day in the world of Magic the Gathering, where you get 3 disasters for the price of 1. Actually, you know what? No Wizards of the Coast. That'd be more like 3 disasters for the price of 12. Anyways, buckle up. Let's talk about some nonsense.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another disaster-filled installment of Mega Magic News. And some people have been asking, where have I been? I've been over on my other YouTube channel making magic videos every day. Did you know I put out 31 videos pretty much this entire month on Magic the Gathering just over there? Go and check it out. I'll leave a link at the end of the video and down in the description. Now that that's out of the way, let us talk about the disasters today. We are going to be dealing with secret layers, and I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but Heads I Win, Tails You Lose is back in the news. How is this possible after an entire year? This secret layer has been the biggest debacle in the entire history of secret layers. Wizards of the Coast goes ahead and says, we're going to make a secret layer that's 95 cards that are reprints. Only 5 cards actually have new artwork. We're going to take a whole year to get it to the point where they had to send everybody out 2 collector boosters as a way of saying, hey, sorry that the secret layer has been taking like 8, 9, 10 months. But anyways, you have this scenario where finally these decks are getting out into people's hands. I thought we were completely all done with it, but nope. Some of these decks still are or aren't coming out. And when it comes to this scenario, we're dealing with Shop-E, which is a place, I'm not sure if this is a brand new storefront that Wizards is running. That's the one that, if I'm not mistaken, is located in Singapore. You may recall we talked about it with the 30th anniversary stuff and how they were selling things over there, or maybe not selling them. It wasn't quite clear. So again, we have a Shop-E situation, but this is one where people have ordered Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, which says to me that this has to have been something that's ongoing for at least a year, right? Because of how long the decks were out. So if you live in that part of the world and you know more about Shop-E, then sound off down in the comments for me and let me know, how long have you been able to buy Wizards of the Coast stuff through them? Has it been like years? And for some reason, you know how it is when you hear about something and then all of a sudden it's popping up everywhere when it's not actually showing up with any more frequency. Your brain's just more attuned to notice it. You learn a new word. All of a sudden that word is everywhere. It's just kind of like you see what your attention is focused on. So I don't know if that's what's going on with this, and I've literally reported on stuff from that store without knowing it was that store. But regardless, this is a weird location right now because either you will get your commander decks from them right around now, or you're going to get cancellations where they're saying, hey, we're not fulfilling these, which is absolutely baffling. Both are happening at the exact same time. That's a pretty big disaster, right? You have a situation where you have people say, nope, sorry, we canceled your order. It's not coming out. And then you have people who got their decks, which we'll talk about what happens with that as well, because there's a catch there too. So the people who didn't get their decks, guess what else they didn't get? The collector boosters. You order this thing, you wait over a year, and then people start getting them. People start getting their decks. I got my deck. Oh, what did I got a cancellation notice and no boosters even. That is absolutely brutal. This entire commander deck has been a disaster. It moves into disaster part 2, electric disaster Lou, when we take a look at the ones that actually did get shipped out by Shop-E because they look like they're fakes. Wizards of the Coast quality control is so bad. So here's what's supposed to have happened. There's so much confusion surrounding this product that literally I've received emails from people saying, hey man, only part of this deck is foil. I thought the whole deck was supposed to be foil. Did they change the advertisements? Like, nobody knows what's going on with this deck. For example, did you know that the Heads I Win, Tails You Lose Secret Lair deck is supposed to have the little Planeswalker symbols down in the left-hand corner of all the cards, a la mystery boosters and set cards, right? Like the list cards, I should say, from set boosters. Those kind of things, right? Have the little Planeswalker symbol. So does this Heads I Win, Tails You Lose deck, unless you got it shipped out from Shopee, in which case it doesn't have the Planeswalker symbols on it. So you go, wait, okay, so how are these not now just the same as original printings? They're going to look functionally the same, right? You're going to have a situation where people are going to go, well, isn't that a plus for the people who got the original cards? I don't know. Are the line, if you take a look at the date line down there, do they all say printed in like, what would it definitely wouldn't say 2022, would it? They probably printed them in 2021 and had to wait for the little plastic pieces. That's what I think happened. We'll never know with the Heads I Win, Tails You Lose thing, but I believe they were just stuck waiting for the little coin flip. That's probably what took them forever. They couldn't deliver it without all the pieces. They had the cards forever, and they couldn't get the decks out to people. Now you have a situation where you don't have the Planeswalker symbols down in the corner. So are these legitimate cards? Are they just reprints of the original? If they have a different date stamped down at the bottom, then clearly they're a different printing. But how many people are even going to see that, let alone the little Planeswalker symbol? That card that sign causes a lot of confusion. People will send me pictures and go, what's this little symbol down here mean? Why are cards that aren't even in this set in this booster pack? People get confused by set boosters. Brothers War was the most confusing, right? People going, okay, hold on, I opened up a booster pack and I got Megatron and I got a card from like 10 years ago. Why is Wizards putting, what's wrong with my pack? Is this how it's supposed to be? So people are already confused. There's massive confusion in terms of what people, what Wizards uses as card cores and things like that. And that matters because let's say you've got these cards and you go, hey, I got the cards from Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. And you're just going, I'm not going to get those from you, bro. Those are fake. They don't even have the Planeswalker symbol on them. So how else do you verify authenticity? Well, there's different kinds of cores that are used in Magic cards, right? And for the longest time, they used to use purely blue cores. So you could shine a light through a card and you can actually see the core. If you've never done it, take an older Magic card or a newer one. But if you take an older Magic card, shine a light through it, it almost kind of looks like a birch tree or something with these little like strand lines that are running through it. But either way, you will notice the core that's inside the card. And that used to be a reliable way of telling things. But then Wizards changed the core to purple core Japanese. On top of that, they just made cards where they left the core out and had to do special errata announcements saying, oops, we left the card cores out. So even though these don't have official card cores, they're still official Magic cards. It's the same, like there's so many different aspects missing from quality control to the point where this is just another disastrous move where it's like, these aren't going to look legitimate to people. How are you supposed to tell if they're real or not? For the people who buy the cards in the first place for their own use. I mean, this isn't like the biggest deal in the world, but it is pretty mind-blowing. I don't know how you can have a scenario where one location prints the cards in this way and every other location prints it in a different way. Or if there's just two locations, don't they use the same digital files, right? How do you end up sending them files for every card without the Planeswalker stamp, or do they just send them the original ones and then it just is added as an overlay? I mean, I admittedly don't know how the printing process works, but my brain just says, how do you even make an oversight like this? Like, how is that actually genuinely possible? So you have the situation where people are getting their decks canceled. You have other people who are going, is this how it's supposed to be? Did I get an inferior product? I went on the website and it says it's supposed to have these, but that one, while it's a mistake on Wizards' part, isn't really going to cause too much problem for the end consumer. Now, I want to talk about the absolutely terrible choice that Wizards of the Coast made for the Secret Lair bonus card that I'm about to show you. So, in case you don't know how slivers work, Wizards of the Coast, what they did was they took all the bonus cards from however many Secret Lairs and they said, we're going to throw tons of slivers in there, right? So you can get randomized different versions of extended bordered slivers. Now, these are just the original artwork blown up. Why are these a big deal? Because there's a bunch of sliver fans, right? So they want to collect up slivers so they can play their sliver decks and just wail on people. The idea of slivers is every one you put out makes all your slivers beefier. So give this one he's got trample, give this one he's got boosty. So let's take a look at the one they decided to include for no discernible reason. This is Plague Sliver, which has recently been discovered as a secret layer bonus card. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. No Sliver player wants this card. Look at this. 2 black and 2 for a 5/5 Sliver, okay? Now, just for historical sense, you have to understand that when you look at the ability of this creature, it says all slivers you control will deal 1 damage to you during each of your upkeeps. But the underlying idea behind this was supposed to be, check it out, this is like Juzum Jin from the original Arabian Nights days, because that cost 2 black and 2 for a 5/5, and each turn it would do 1 damage to you. And it also had that awesome artwork where the Jin's holding a tiny little person up like, man, you are absolutely hosed. So back in the day, using a dark ritual with this, you get it out, it's a big fat slammer, right? You flash forward to when they made it. It was made in the Time Spiral block. This is like an homage to the Djinn, but also, hey, check it out, it's slivers or whatever. And at that time, it was not the best, but it also wasn't the absolute worst thing under the sun. So you take a look at it from today's perspective, and it's absolutely awful. Anybody who's not playing slivers, why would you play something like this when you could use Phyrexian Obliterator? Yes, it does cost 4 black, but it's 4 mana for a 5/5, but instead of it doing 1 damage to you every turn, it says when your opponents deal damage to it, guess what? They sacrifice that many permanents. That is a massive difference. So if it's useless for anybody who's not playing a sliver deck, then clearly this is just for sliver players to use, right? And you read it and go, wait a minute, if I'm playing a sliver deck and I put this out, each one of my slivers just punches me in the face every turn with no discernible bonus. I have to make all of my slivers hit me to have 1 5/5 sliver, and that costs 4 mana. When for 5 mana, you can get the craziest slivers in existence. You can get a 7/7 Sliver Queen. You can get the indestructible, like you've got the Hive Lord, you've got the Hive Mind, you've got all kinds of insane slivers that are absolutely unstoppable. And then you're gonna go ahead and go, oh, yeah, Plague Sliver, anybody? As the actual bonus card. Now, we're going into full, pull out your tinfoil hats, strap them onto your heads, because we're going into full tinfoil hat territory here. This is a theory that I have heard, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more it becomes a possibility with secret layers. The countdown kit that Wizards did, which by the way, is an awesome product, right? Having these 30 different cards in individual packs that you open each day, very gratifying experience. It's too bad that Wizards of the Coast didn't do a better job of getting them into people's hands, because I've been doing it day by day, right? Like this was last night's. This was Shark Typhoon. Yeah, it's like a monster movie, right? So these are really cool, honestly. It's a really cool product. But the idea that's being floated around out there is that Wizards of the Coast went ahead and said, hey, we want to make another product at the end of the year to get money from people. So why don't we take all of the secret layer bonus cards that we have from like 30 different layers, and we'll make this kit where it's like, how do we just, like, basically they sat down and said, how do we shave off a little of each of these secret layers to turn it into something else and turn some more money out of this? So they went, okay, how about we've already paid for all these artworks. We need to use stuff we already have the like artwork for, we already own. So what they do is they just go and peel 1 card out of each secret layer. Boom, 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 boom. The cards that were meant to be the bonus cards, but done in the same way that The Walking Dead, like in The Walking Dead secret layer, if you didn't know, the bonus card was Lucille, which is the bat from The Walking Dead. And it feels very strange to get a bonus card that is actually part of the initial set, because it doesn't feel like a bonus card. It literally just feels like, okay, I bought a loaf of bread, you opened the loaf of bread, took some slices out and said, these are bonus slices. And it's like, that's part of the whole. You're not fooling me by just going, no, that's the bonus. So that was basically the idea. I think they had a ton of these bonus cards, and they went, let's peel one off of each of these secret layers, and we'll replace them with the slivers and the Jumpstart Basics. And the Jumpstart Basics flopped hard. Nobody really cared about getting those. They were super valuable because Jumpstart was super short printed, not because they were super desirable cards. So those flopped horribly, and they felt like a real rush job. And the sliver things feel like a real rush job too, evidenced by the fact that they just have stretched, blown out artwork, as well as the fact that Plague Sliver made it in, because you're making these to appeal to sliver collectors, and nobody who's collecting up slivers, or almost nobody, unless they're completionists, is going to want a Plague Sliver. So it's a deadweight piece of garbage choice. And these all blend together to say, okay, quickly slap together ideas, get them shoved out there, put them in the secret layers, and then we can extract all this extra money out of all these bonus cards, right? All these advent calendars were all like pretty much ready to go. Wizards had extra Wizards had X number of every secret layer printed in advance. So this is full tinfoil hat, guys. I admit that. I'm not saying that's what happened, but the more I look at things, the Plague Sliver is pretty much the nail that started to make me go, okay, now it looks like we're putting a lid on a coffin here. So I'm leaning towards there may have been some behind the scenes, how do we extract some extra dollars, right? 30th anniversary shows they're primed to get that money, and the time frame within they were announced is roughly the same, so the decision making has to be made around the same time as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, that wraps up the news. It's nice to be back on this channel. I'll reiterate, my friends, I've been over on my other YouTube channel, Hatcher, every single day. So if you want to check out those videos, having a good time with Magic, link on the screen, link down, pinned at the top of the comments as well. Thanks for coming by. Big shout out to my patrons. Oh, and I released a Magic lore video as well. I just forgot about that, about cosmic horrors. So I'll put that on the screen too. That's on my other YouTube channel, Fantasy Geographic. I'll see you over in one of those locations. Bye for now.